All right, so let's make my favorite British dish, chicken tikka masala. If nobody's ever told you, I'll tell you here first. Toasting your spices is the best thing you can do when it comes to making any curry or anything that has a heavy spice mixture. When you toast your spices, it does two things. One, it allows the nutty aroma to come out of the spices naturally without you having to add anything extra. And two, it makes them more powerful, more potent, and everything else in between. So you heard it here first. Always, always, always toast your spices.
First, grab a small pan. No oil is needed in this step. All we're doing here is toasting the spices. Start by adding a tablespoon of garam masala. This spice blend contains aromatic spices like cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves, and toasting it helps release those warm, sweet aromas. Next, add about a half a spoon of cumin. Add about a teaspoon of paprika to the pan. Toasting paprika helps bring out its smoky flavor, which will add a beautiful depth to the marinade. Finally, finish with a pinch of cayenne powder. This is one potent ingredient, so be careful not to add too much. First, grab a medium-sized mixing bowl. We're going to add in 1 cup of Greek yogurt. The yogurt is not only going to help tenderize the chicken, but it'll also hold all the amazing spices we're going to add in. Now let's season it up. Start by adding a teaspoon of salt to the yogurt. This is going to help bring all the flavors together and season the chicken from the inside. Next, let's go in with our tablespoon of toasted garam masala. For little heat, we're adding a teaspoon of light chili powder. This will help give the chicken a mild kick, but nothing too intense. It's just the right amount of heat to make the flavors pop without overpowering the other spices. Speaking of color though, let's add a teaspoon of paprika. This not only brings a gorgeous red hue to the marinade, but also adds a mild smokiness that's going to be absolutely delicious when the chicken is cooking. Finally, we'll toss in a tablespoon of cumin. Cumin is an earthy and slightly nutty seasoning, and it'll give the marinade that deep, savory flavor that's perfect for our tikka masala. Now give everything a good stir, making sure all those spices blend nicely with the yogurt. Once our marinade is ready, it's time to add in the chicken. I've got about 1 to 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, cut into bite-sized pieces. You want to make sure each piece is coated thoroughly with that rich spiced yogurt mixture. The yogurt helps the spices really stick to the chicken, and as it marinates, all those flavors will soak in, making the chicken super flavorful and super tender. Now cover the bowl with plastic wrap or a lid and let marinate in the fridge for at least 1 hour.
The most important part of this entire dish is going to absolutely be the chicken, and it's very important how we cook that chicken. Now there's 2 traditional ways we can do this. We can cook it either with a tandoor, which obviously I'm pretty sure 99% of y'all don't have, or 2, a grill, which also I don't have. So we're gonna make it right at home on the stove. I'm pan-searing the chicken to show you how to do it the best way possible so that it brings out the most flavor, the most juiciness, and also it can be the most tasty it can ever be, making it right on the stove.
Simply heat up a little oil or ghee in a heavily bottomed skillet over a medium-high heat. You want to use a pan that retains heat well, like cast iron, or in this case stainless steel, or if you have it, like I'm using currently, a non-stick pan. Once the pan is hot, add in the marinated chicken pieces, making sure not to crowd the pan. You want the pieces to have enough space to cook evenly and get that nice crispy char on the outside. Cook the chicken for at least 4 to 5 minutes on each side, depending on the size of the pieces. The chicken is done when it's golden and slightly charred on the outside, and the internal temperature reaches 165 Fahrenheit or 75 degrees Celsius. If you're cooking in batches, just keep the first batch warm in the oven at a low temperature while you finish cooking the rest. Once the chicken is cooked, you're all set. Once the chicken is cooked, you're all set to move on to the next step, which is adding it to our amazing curry that we're about to make.
Now the curry is going to be the absolute most tastiest part of this entire dish. The curry has a red, orangey sauce with a bunch of ingredients, a bunch of spices that makes it just to die for. So let me show you how to make that amazing curry.
We'll start with the base of the curry. the yellow onion. Slice it thinly so it can cook down quickly and become soft and sweet. Heat a bit of oil in a large pan over medium heat, and once it's hot, add the sliced onions. Saute them for about 5 to 7 minutes or until they turn soft and golden brown. This step is key because the sweetness from the onions will help balance out the spices and set a flavorful foundation for the curry. Once the onions are cooking, chop up an inch of fresh ginger and mince about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. These ingredients will add a lovely zesty and flavorful layer to the curry, so please don't skip this step. Next, let's add the spices. Start with about a tablespoon of garam masala, like we toasted earlier. Then add a pinch of cayenne pepper if you want a bit of heat, and a couple of whole cloves. Stir everything together and let the spices toast for about a minute. This step is really important because toasting the spices releases the essential oils and intensifies their flavors, making the curry taste even more fragrant and flavorful. Now it's time to add the crushed tomatoes. Add a 14-ounce can of crushed tomatoes to the pan and stir it in. Let the curry simmer for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. Add in 1 whole cup of heavy cream to get that perfect smooth and creamy sauce. If it's too tangy, you can add a little more sugar to balance it out. If you're feeling adventurous, you can also add a pinch of cinnamon. It's totally optional, but it adds a lovely warmth and a hint of sweetness to the dish. Once your chicken is cooked and your chicken tikka masala is ready to go, it's time to bring everything together for that perfect meal. Now, once your rice is ready, it's time to add the chicken. If you've served your chicken tikka masala with the sauce, simply take the cooked chicken and toss it into your sauce to coat it evenly. Let it simmer in the sauce for a few minutes to let all those flavors mend together. When everything's perfectly combined, plate your rice and spoon the delicious saucy chicken over the top. If you want to take it to the next level, garnish with some fresh cilantro and a squeeze of lime.
And there you have it. One of my favorite ever British dishes that I've ever made on this channel, and also that I love to eat on the regular. Until next time, I really hope you enjoy your dinner from Chase Andy. Click to my right somewhere on the screen for more amazing videos. Click down in the menu below, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, just remember, still trying to figure all this shit out.